So lesson 1.2 is points, lines, and planes, and there's a lot of definitions in here. So we're actually going to make a table and go through all the definitions first, and then we'll practice finding them. So I'm going to make a table that is 4 wide and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 deep. So that it looks about like that. Okay, so the first one, we're going to have our term. We're going to then have our definition, our picture, and then how to label. The first term is going to be a point. A point, a line, and a plane are actually undefined terms, but it's still important to know what they are and kind of how to recognize them, because it's what geometry is based off of. It's like the foundation. So a point has no dimension. It's represented by a small dot. And there's normally a capital letter next to it. It can be any capital letter. So to label it, you can either write out the word point and then put the letter, or you can just put a little dot and the letter that's next to it. So that's a point. The next one we're going to do is a line. A line extends in one dimension. It's going to extend 2 directions in one dimension. Okay, so a line, remember, a line goes on forever in 2 directions. So if we have a line, we always have arrows on both ends of the line because there's no endpoints. It keeps going forever. Okay, and there's actually a couple different ways to label a line. A line has to contain at least 2 or more points. So I'm going to label 2 points that are on this line. And when I label it, to name a line, you can either say line with the lowercase cursive letter that's near it, or you can say line with 2 points that are on the line, or if you don't want to write out line, you can just put 2 points down and draw a line above it. It's extremely important to get in the habit of labeling things correctly in geometry, because down the road we're going to be labeling things, and if we don't have the labeling above the letters, it's going to be very confusing what we're talking about. So you either want to say the word out in front or put the label above them. All right, the next one is a line segment. A line segment has 2 endpoints. And there's actually 2 ways that you can see a line segment. You can go ahead and just see a line segment with the endpoints, or you really could have a line and pull a line segment from it. So AB, just this guy, if we just pull this chunk, that would be a line segment. So that's where it's really important to label, because when we come over here and label, we're going to have PQ as a line segment. There's no arrows. Or we can have line segment AB with just a segment above it. So it's a line segment. We know it has endpoints. Where if we look at AB right above that, it has arrows, so we know it's a line. All right, the next one is a ray. A ray has 1 endpoint and extends in the other direction. Okay, so a ray, you're going to see an endpoint, and then you're going to see it shoot through some points. So let's do Q and R. So for a ray, it's also really important which way you label it. If I put QR, I look over here at the picture, and the endpoint is on Q, so I'm going to put a dot and shoot through R. If I labeled it as RQ, I would put my endpoint above Q and shoot through R. Okay, that tells us which way the ray goes. Just kind of a fun fact about opposite rays. That's going to be our next one. Opposite rays form a line. So if we look at an opposite ray, I have an endpoint and it shoots out one direction. If I use that same endpoint and shoot out a different direction, I just made this line with two different rays. So I have ray BA and it shoots through A, and then I have line BC starting at B shooting through C. The next definition is a plane. A plane extends in two dimensions. This one's hard to visualize because technically it extends, it's kind of like a piece of paper floating. So if I took this paper and floated it in the air, this would be a plane. But technically, it doesn't end where the paper ends. It keeps going. So it's not three-dimensional. It doesn't come up at me, but it would continue going this direction, and then the bottom would continue going this direction. So most of the time when you have a drawing of a plane, that's basically what it looks like, is a piece of paper. So it's normally like a little slanted square. Normally, it doesn't have to be. And you can name planes a couple different ways. So let's put a big R down here, and then we'll put A, B, and C. So there's two ways to name planes. And this is where people a lot of times get mixed up and they forget how to name planes. So to name a plane, the easy way is to write plane and put the big capital cursive fancy letter that's in the corner. The other way to name a plane, which is what people forget about, is to write the word plane and then put 3 points that do not lie on the same line. They cannot lie on the same line. So if I connected A and B, you see how C would not be on that line? If I connected B and C, A wouldn't be on the line, okay? So if you name a plane, you have to choose 3 points that are not on the same line. All right, so those are our kind of the base. Now there's a couple definitions that come off of those. We have collinear points. Collinear, see how it has the word line in it? Okay, that means, that's kind of an easy way to remember what it means. It means it's points that lie on the same line. Okay, so if we look up here, A, B, and C, oh, you can't see it, can you? If we look up here, A, B, and C lie on the same line, so they would be collinear. And then we have coplanar points, which coplanar has plane in it. Okay, so coplanar means the points that lie on the same plane. So if you look right up at the picture right above us, A, B, and C are coplanar because they all are in plane R. If I put a point out here, that point, oh, we already have that letter, don't we? Let's do D. That point wouldn't be on that plane, so it would be not coplanar. Okay, our next one is intersect. It's exactly what it sounds like. It's when two things hit each other, so like two lines intersect. It's where they meet. And that's if they have, you can tell if they intersect if they have one or more points in common. So then we have the intersection. So the intersection would be, like if I draw these two lines, where do they intersect? They intersect right here at a point. If I have two planes, which I am terrible at drawing, but I will try. If I have this plane here, and then I draw a plane that's going up and down, so like, oh boy, this plane here, dotted lines are when it's behind the figure. Okay, they would meet at some point where they like intersect. So two planes would intersect at a line. So an intersection is the point or points where the figures meet or intersect. Okay, so there's all of our definitions. Now we're going to practice naming. So go ahead and draw this picture because we're going to practice a bunch of questions straight off of this picture. So the picture is this lovely plane. We're going to put H up here. We're going to have a line here that is P. We have a big L, a big B, and then I'm going to have a line that's going through the plane. So it's going to become dotted here. Put a Q up here, put an A here. And then we're going to put an M out here. All right, so the first thing that we're going to do is name the plane in two ways. Name the plane two ways. So what did we talk about? Naming a plane. We can use the big letter in the corner. So we have plane H, or we can pick three letters, 3 points that are not collinear. Okay, cannot be on the same line. So plane LCA or LBC. Okay, C has to be included because C is not on the line with L, A, and B. The next one that we're going to do, what is another name? What is another name for line P? Line P. I'm going to find my pretty little cursive P, and that's talking about this line. How else can we name a line? We pull 2 points off of that line, so like A and B, and put a line above them. Okay, number 3. Where does line P and Q intersect? Well, if we look where they meet, here's line P, here's line Q. They intersect at a point A. Number 4, name 3 collinear points. Collinear. What's collinear mean? That means they lie on the same line. It has line in it. So there's only one line that has 3 points that are labeled. So we have point L, point A, and point B. Number 5, name 3 points that are not coplanar. So coplanar means they're on the same plane. Not coplanar means they're not on the same plane. So if I look up at that top, M is the only one that's not on the plane. So name 2 that are in the plane and then include M since he's not in the plane. Now I want you guys to practice. So go ahead and draw this drawing down. And then I'm going to give you some questions off of it. D, A, B, M, E, C. So you need to have that drawing down. You can pause the video if you need to. There's going to be some questions that are going to pop up. Oh, and N.